Hi everyone, this podcast continues the introduction to family law. I apologise that the last podcast cut out. So we were talking about making an application for child support, whether people would apply to the Child Support Agency to make an administrative assessment, or whether they would reach their own agreement and enter into their own written child support agreement. So those are the types of issues that we'll be dealing with in this unit. Now the text you need, the prescribed text is the Family Law Principles text. There is a second edition of that text. Don't use the first edition, it's out of date. The second edition is up to date and has also got significantly more information in it. So I would advise you not to use second-hand first edition copies. There is then another prescribed text, which is the casebook, Patrick Parkinson, Australian Family Law in Context. However, you can get away with not using that if you don't want to go to the expense of buying it. So even though I've prescribed it, I think you can get away with not using it. I guess the main advantage is it has got extracts of some of the cases, but it hasn't got extracts, unfortunately, of all of the cases. And you can view the cases, in other means. We have got links to the ones that we can link you to. The FLC cases we can't link you to, but they're on CCH Online on the Law Library law databases. And obviously, too, you need access to the library, and I guess in this unit this semester we're not having a hard copy study guide or workbook. All materials will be on the Blackboard site and you need to work through them module by module. Okay, so sorry, I've just talked about those prescribed texts, and that reminds me that I should have said too, you can, if you want to, you can either get a hard copy and an e-copy, or just an e-copy of the Family Law Principles book. It's available from the QUT bookshop. Also, it's available online from the Thomson Reuters site, and that's where you can purchase the e-copy only if you'd prefer that. Now, the main legislation in this area is the Family Law Act. It was introduced in 1975 and really introduced a whole new way of approaching family law in Australia, particularly in relation to a no-fault family law system. So, for example, to obtain a divorce, you no longer had to prove fault as you did previously under the Matrimonial Causes Act. Other key pieces of legislation are the domestic violence legislation. Now, the Child Protection Act should say Queensland. That's a mistake there. So both Domestic Violence and Child Protection Act are Queensland Acts. Now, if you are in a different state or territory, as I know some of you studying online are in other outside of Queensland, you will have different acts for domestic violence and child protection because it is state by state and there will be some differences. Also, another Commonwealth Act, the Child Support Act, which deals with financial support for children. So how to study in this module? You go module by module onto the Blackboard site and follow the steps on the left-hand side of the page which take you through what you need to do for each module. For many of the modules, there'll be a song that you can listen to and watch if you want to. There will be prescribed readings, there may be optional readings, there will be podcasts and PowerPoints, there may be a DVD. Some modules, particularly at the very beginning, are only online and they have online tutorial questions and answers. Then when we get up to week 4, we have an in-person workshop. So once you get up to the in-person workshop, they're really like tutorials, so that you prepare for them like a tutorial. You have to have done and completed your module content before you then go on to complete your workshop content. Then you prepare your answers to the tutorial questions, and if you're able to, come along. They will be in weeks 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10 and 12. in C405, which is C Block, on Gardens Point campus from 4 to 6 on a Tuesday, but only on those weeks. And if you look on the Blackboard site, we've got the specific dates. If you're not able to come or you're an external student, don't worry. All of this will be audio taped and will be available soon after on the Blackboard site. It goes up automatically and it normally takes just a couple of hours to go up. And because everything's online, there's no external school in this unit for external students. Be aware that in family law it's constantly changing. If you use old notes prepared by past students, they won't be up to date. And because we've had that problem in the past, we do deduct marks if you cite old law in your assignment or in your exam. Now, the assessment in this unit is an assignment and then a central exam. We will talk later about the exam later in semester, but the assignment is due in week 9, 17th of September. You only need to upload it to Blackboard. If you're an internal student, you do not need to traipse into campus and submit it by assignment minder. So it's an upload only, and it will be posted on the Blackboard site. And we have said release by week 2 there, but sorry, it isn't available yet, but we will be releasing it next week, so that will be week 3. And I will do a separate post on Blackboard and podcast about that assignment. Now, that assignment will consist of a letter of advice to a client, so it will be the initial letter of advice to a client. You'll be watching a DVD of a client interview, and then from that interview you will be working out what the client's issues are, researching the relevant law. You will then be working out what advice to give them and writing that up as a letter of advice. It is an individual assignment and it has a limit of 2,000 words. Once we post up the assignment, we will also post up the criteria sheet. Now, the next piece of assessment is a central exam, so that's in the central exam period on the QUT calendar. It will be a 2-hour exam, and you will need to do 2 out of 3 questions, and you'll have a half-hour perusal. Now, I've put on that slide some common exam mistakes that students make and some information about the exam. Have a look at those slides yourself, as we will be talking about that in more detail a bit later on in the semester. So that is all for that podcast. I hope you enjoy studying family law this semester. And remember, during the semester, if you have any questions or queries, you should contact me. Probably best contact is by email, but also telephone, good too. And if you need to make a time to come and see me, I will put my consultation times up on Blackboard. And I will also, if you can't make it at that time or I have to change those times that week, I will make a note up on Blackboard. And also you can contact me to make a mutually convenient time if the consultation time isn't convenient to you.